used it on Brittany.
Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother Canada 3. My name's Jacob Harple, and joining with me tonight is the most fantastic, most fabulous Keith Guerrero. How are you doing, Keith?
I'm doing great. I feel prepared. How are you doing, Jacob?
I just thought I'd randomly start the broadcast because much like Big Brother Canada 3, you never know when there's going to be a twist.
There is a twist.
I'd shake up the house for you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, of course. So we had the Power Veto episode tonight. Very interesting episode.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely am excited to talk to you about the strategy with Kevin's decision, kind of where the target goes, and definitely kind of want to talk about Bobby because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's safe to say Bobby's probably leaving on Wednesday. What do you think?
Allegedly, like Brittany and Bobby come from two separate camps. We'll see which camp can have more power, but I don't know. We'll see if Bobby can bring in the votes. Not sure. There wasn't really clarified inside the episode if Bobby would be. Bobby's obviously the target, but I'm not really sure. I think Bobby could make a case to stay potentially.
What do you think would be the best move for someone like Sarah? Do you think the best move is to keep Brittany or to get rid of her?
Obviously, it would be to keep Brittany because Sarah's low on numbers, so she needs as much influence and power as she could be. But I was actually more so thinking potentially Zach. What's the best move for Zach? Would it be to keep Bobby and keep Bobby's trust, to keep the Bobby-Kevin feud going? Because, Brittany's not going to benefit Zach's game at all. It's just a vote against Zach every single time. If he's up on the block next to Brittany, he's going home. So I don't know. Does he want to seclude the couples alliance, or does he want Bruno and Bobby to potentially help him and Ashley, like Kevin and Pilar is kind of using Godfrey? So it's a very interesting situation that could potentially help out Zach's game if he plays it right.
I think it's honestly just comes down to whether or not Zach trusts Bobby and Bruno, because I think Bobby is better at competitions than Brittany overall. So if he believes that he wouldn't nominate him, then keep him. Get rid of Brittany. Get rid of one of the numbers. She's an easy pawn. You take out an easy option for people when they're making their nominations.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not really sure about Bobby and Bruno's loyalty, I think the move is to definitely take out Bobby. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think for the Diaper Alliance, at least, I think that's the best move. Especially if Kevin wants Bobby to go, I think it would be in Zach's best interest to respect Kevin's decision, because it's, if not already, those four are pretty much alone. It's those four against the world. So if I'm Zach, I'm trying to think of everything I can do to just make sure the four remain tight. So I think getting rid of Bobby would probably be the better option.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about Brittany, because Brittany definitely felt like Kevin's speech was a little condescending. And, Brittany was someone that you and I had a lot of high hopes for. We kind of praised a little bit. We felt that she was definitely being underrated. What are your thoughts of Brittany currently? Has that changed at all for you? Is there anything you think she's doing wrong? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, after talking about it yesterday, I think the thing she's doing wrong is that she's not negotiating her position in the house very well. Whenever people are telling her, you're going up on the block, she has to set criteria for consequences that happen, because there should be consequences associated with her going on the block. Brittany should know that the perception is she's the weakest competitor in the house. She's been on the block 4 times. The perception is there. She's not going home. She's just being used as a pawn. So she wants to get outside of that pawn role. She needs to start having some demands, some criteria for that. I just think that she's not negotiating her position as a pawn well, and that's why people are consistently using her as a pawn. And that's why she has that role, because she fills it pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. She's almost like she's not really sticking up for herself. And, if people start using you as a pawn, there comes a time where you just have to put your foot down and just be like, this isn't what's going to happen. I am a player in this game. And you don't want to cross me, because if you keep putting me up, I'm not going to forget about it. And that's kind of what we talked about last night. But I feel like that's kind of why Brittany's game is kind of fizzling at this point, because now she's just accepting the fact that and dealing with the fact that she's the pawn of the season, which isn't the most. It's not the best role you want to be when within the game.
Yeah, Brittany definitely is in the need of an HOH win to shake up her position again. Like she really does need to win HOH to prove that she's not a pawn, that she's not just the goat being dragged to the end. She needs something. She needs an HOH win specifically, even to like change up the game. She needs to do something.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Bobby for a second, because I feel like we'll be talking about him a couple of times in the episode, but I want to run through his rationale for offering to put himself on the block. So he pretty much says it comes down to two reasons. He wants to compete in the veto, and he wants to
not reveal that his secret veto is fake.
Okay, what do you think about this?
Well, I could buy his first reason. I don't buy his second reason.
Yeah, the second reason doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Like I don't even know why he created that lie. Like that was such a stupid lie. Why would he think that he would be safe? Like that would put a bigger target on him.
Well, plus, like, usually when they do secret powers like that, they're very strict on the fact that you're not allowed to tell people.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So if it's a secret veto, what makes you think that they'd be like, oh yeah, you can tell whoever you want? Like, no. Like, they want that big reveal when someone has like a secret power. You know what I mean?
This ain't Survivor. There's no hidden immunity idols.
Yeah, yeah. And so I don't know, like, it's just the rationale of people that just feel like comps are everything. So he's writing everything on the competition, just like, I have to win veto so I don't have to show that my veto is fake. Like, well, you know what another way to do that is not be on the block in the first place.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I just feel like it's just been bad move after bad move for Bobby, and that's why I'm just kind of like ready for him to go on Wednesday. I just feel like we've gotten everything that we could ask for from him.
Yeah. But could be more bad moves in the future if he stays.
That's true. You know, I'm not underestimating him in that aspect. Okay, and so I want to talk about just the alliance between Zach and Kevin, because we definitely have two different plans. There's what Kevin wants to happen and what Zach wants to happen. How do you feel about the relationship between these two? And just, it's like they're both playing mind games with each other. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think it was good for Kevin to go on the path of least resistance and basically lie to Zach, say like, yeah, the plan's the backdoor Godfrey, house target, makes sense, and then plant the little seeds along the way to eventually get what Kevin actually wants, which is for Bobby to leave the house. I think Kevin played it pretty well. He planted the seeds pretty well. This is his HOH reign, not Zach's. And I think Zach's aware that Godfrey leaving benefits his game more than Kevin, so he can't be mad for Kevin getting rid of somebody that he wants to get rid of. So, and honestly, like Bobby or Brittany would be benefiting Kevin's game. Either one of them leaving the door.
I agree. Yeah, and it's nice to just see Zach like understand that. Like, you know, how many times would have seen another player like throw a temper tantrum because they didn't get what they wanted. So It's nice to see that Zach recognizes that, you know, Kevin's got to do what's best for Kevin. Who do you think has the most control in the game currently between those two, Kevin or Zach?
Kevin. I think Kevin is setting himself up pretty well. Like, he's not isolating himself to the Diapers Alliance that I think Zach and Ashley are. Like, Kevin made a deal with Godfrey that's benefiting him and Pilar's game, which I think can open up some possibilities for Kevin and Pilar. And I think it shifts the target away from them two and onto Zach and Ashley.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really like to see that. I really like that move from Kevin. I think it's really smart. You know, this game is all about options, and as powerful as this Diaper Alliance might be, after this week, they're still going to be at a 5-4 disadvantage and 5-3 as far as the HOH competition. So Kevin really needs to start preparing himself for when that other side does win HOH, because something's going to happen. And I really like it. I feel like Zach has just he's like accepted the fact that he's the idol, like, like the symbol of that alliance. So he can't really move anywhere else. And, I think Kevin is totally taking advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the veto. What did you think about the veto competition? I thought it was a pretty interesting competition.
Definitely looked physically exhausting, having to do the whole moving situation and swinging. Poor Pilar couldn't even finish the competition, dry heaving. just looking bamboozled. Felt so sorry for the girl. Of course, the house comes and consoles her immediately. Like, oh, Pilar, your social game's on point. Work, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was good watching everybody play. I think this is the worst competition for Bobby. Like, his attention span's so bad, and it just showed inside the competition. Sarah actually did a really good job. She was very, like, she was able to see everything perfectly. And she was saying in her DR, like, how a pothead was, like, is alleged to not have a good memory. And she was like, oh, I see it all in just one take. But that damn orange ottoman gets you.
Poor Sarah. She's never going to win a competition.
It's okay, Sarah. You're just doing your best.
Yeah, you try your hardest. Were you surprised to see Kevin win?
No, like based on like everybody else's performances, like Kevin is a strong competitor, so it made sense that he won this competition, the competition that he wanted to win.
Do you think he needed to win this veto? I guess that's a better question.
See, I don't know why there's this mentality for HOHs to need to win their power of veto. This happened with Bruno's HOH reign where he won veto as well, Zach's HOH reign, now Kevin's HOH reign. Like, if I'm HOH, I'm just glad that I'm safe and everybody's an option. I don't care. I will nominate 4 people this week as long as it ain't me. So, like, the fact that the HOHs always want to win the veto as well and completely have 100% control of what happens their HOH reign, I'm like, y'all should have some more, like, flexibility with what goes on. Like, have a plan A, but also have a plan B. Have a plan C if plan B doesn't work out, and plan D in case all 3 plans don't work. Like, the need for control for HOHs like might be setting a precedent that could end up hurting Kevin's game, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely the biggest thing about Kevin is just like every few weeks it's just another reminder. It's like, oh yeah, Kevin's actually really good at competitions.
Yeah.
So the fact that he needed, like, I don't think he needed it. Of course, he might not want to backdoor Godfrey, but I don't know. I just think it's one of those things that it just accumulates and accumulates, and it's a snowball effect. He just keeps winning all these things even when he doesn't have to. It's kind of like what Frankie did in BB16. He'd win all these vetoes or competitions when he really didn't need to be winning, and it just made him this huge threat, and he became the guy that everyone needed to get out at Final 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I could definitely see something about that with Kevin. I'm starting to get a little nervous, Keith, because the triple eviction is on Wednesday, and I don't think Kevin is going to be in that much trouble.
Really?
Which means if Kevin survives Wednesday's triple eviction, I will be wrong. Kevin will have made the final 7. I will have to eat my words.
Uh-oh, you're going to have to eat some crow.
I will, and I am not looking forward to it. So I'm really hoping every good thing we just said about Kevin is just a total lie. So Vic did. But yeah, so Kevin wins the veto, and he basically breaks the news to his alliance. How did you feel like his alliance members reacted? Do you think he handled it in a smart way? What were you thinking?
I think Pilar will agree with anything that Kevin says, so Kevin might as well be honest with her. I think Zach played it very well. That like, although he doesn't like, he was painting a picture that he obviously doesn't agree with Kevin's decision. You can still be loyal to somebody and not agree with their decision. And I think Zach was painting that picture pretty well, pretty hard to try to get his agenda across. But it still didn't work. Kevin did what he wanted to do, and Zach can't be mad at that. I mean, who else can he turn to inside the house, really?
Exactly.
So like his options are limited, and so I think Kevin did a great job. This episode was completely Kevin's episode. He was the star of the episode. They were talking about him all the time. He's like, I got this master plan. It's going into fruition. I mean, if you had a master plan, I would have expected you to use the veto on Brittany and nominating Bruno. But, you know, I guess the master plan could also work in this aspect of not using it.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Do you feel like do you feel like he's kind of a try-hard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's over-embellishing what his HOH week really is. You're nominating somebody who is on the block for a 4th time, and somebody that has an intellectual capacity of a 4-year-old in Bobby.
Yeah, definitely not an earth shattering move.
It really isn't. Like you're really accomplishing getting rid of one of 2 weak competitors.
Yeah.
So, it's really not a big move in the game. A big move would have been nominating Bruno and Bobby next to each other. That would have been a big move.
Which
That
is
would
what
put blood in your hands.
that's actually what I thought that but I thought that was what Kevin was going to do. Like, as soon as Kevin won veto, I'm thinking, well, sucks for Bruno, but Bruno slips through yet again, and actually this could actually help Bruno because now Bruno's lost another ally. He might be seen as less threatening to both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was interesting because like part of Kevin and Zach's conversation was like the whole Bruno Bobby thing, like squeeze out any loyalty that might remain by getting rid of Godfrey this week. That was Zach's argument. But Kevin's counter to that was like, there's no loyalty left. Like we squeezed what we could out of them. And they're coming after us no matter what. So even with Kevin saying that, why not use a veto on Brittany and nominate Bruno and Bobby together? Like Brittany, part of her veto speech was that, you know, Kevin, if you use the veto on me, I'll vote however you want to vote. Like I'm a free agent, like use it on me and I'll make this week go the way you want it to go. But in keeping Brittany on the block, there is that potential that Brittany can go because there is two different sides outside of the Diapers Alliance. So I'm not sure. I think it's not impossible for Bobby to stay.
No, I agree. I don't think it's like a landslide, but I think Bobby's dumb decisions have kind of no one really wants to work with him anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like the only people that might stick their neck out for him would be Bruno and maybe Godfrey, maybe. Let's talk about the veto meeting because that was one of the most awkward, like pathetic meetings I think I've ever seen. What was your reaction to the whole thing?
It's so funny. Like I would have been satisfied with, you know, Kevin just putting the veto into the box and closing it. But Bobby stood up. He stood up and threw out like a torn piece of a clothes hanger as a secret veto that he had this entire time. I'm just so glad that he was put on Front Street for how stupid he is. And you could tell he was embarrassed. And everybody else inside the room was just like laughing how awkwardly bad of a decision Bobby made right there. So in that aspect, I could see Bobby like getting easy votes to being eliminated from the game. Like that was so like irrelevant. You really didn't need to do that. And you just put yourself like in a bad position. It was so bad. And he was even feeling so awkward, like he had to stand up from the nomination chair because he was so embarrassed. He wanted to leave.
Yeah, like why? And my thing is why reveal that it was fake? Why not just not say anything and then just play it off and just be like, oh, I feel fine. Like I want to save this. Like keep and use it as a bargaining chip. Like, hey, keep me in the game. I'll still have my veto, and you know I can use it however you want me to use it. But now he's let it out in the open that it's fake, so it's like I feel like his value is at an all-time low, and no one really wants him on their side.
I agree.
So it should be interesting, pretty interesting episode. I'm really I'm interested to see how Wednesday goes. How are you feeling about this triple eviction?
I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling anxious. And I think somebody will be eliminated outside of the Diapers Alliance. I'm going against the grain. I think that all Diaper Alliance is going to stay.
Who do you think is going to go then?
You know, I'll just put Sarah and Willow. I'll say that they'll leave.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Diaper Alliance is going to take the HOH for the fourth time. And I think but instead I'm going to say we're going to say goodbye to.
Or maybe Godfrey and Willow.
I'm going to say Godfrey and Bruno.
Okay. I could see that.
I think it'll be Godfrey, Bruno, and Brittany on the block.
Bye.
And then they'll vote to save Brittany. I'm locking it in. I really hope not because those are probably the two people I'm rooting for the most right now is Bruno and Godfrey.
What if Canada just got to like do a hashtag for the house guest they wanted to eliminate, and whichever was trending on Twitter would be the house guest that gets eliminated?
God, who do you think would get eliminated?
Probably someone in the Diaper Alliance. I think the Canada just wants to see one of them go.
I would say Zach. Yeah.
Captain Canada gets attacked by Canada.
Yep. How fitting.
That would be so perfect.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting episode. So you are going to need to check out our breakdown of the episode right after. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up, Keith, or anything else we're missing?
No, let's wrap this up like a burrito.
Let's wrap it up. So check out the episode. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Jacob Harple, at Most Humble, at Sarcastivities. Like us on Facebook, Big Brother Basics, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get in on the action. And most importantly, stay basic.